In short, the question is whether Muhammad was not the Antichrist. Antichrist means one who's opposed to Isa alayhi salam, one who's Dajjal. Dajjal is the term we use for Antichrist. How can it be? Look, Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made it possible for us Muslims to believe in Jesus. No Muslim is a Muslim if he does not believe in Jesus. We Muslims are made to believe on the authority of this holy book, the Quran, that Jesus Christ was one of the mightiest messengers of God. We are made to believe that he was born miraculously. We are made to believe that he was the Christ, the Masih, the Messiah. We are made to believe that he gave life to the dead by God's permission and he healed those born blind and the lepers by God's permission. And the Christian Bible testifies to this, that our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a true messenger of God. The test it gives. In the first epistle of John, chapter 4, verse, it says, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world. It continues, the spirit that confesseth that Jesus is the Christ is of God. A true spirit is a true prophet, and a false spirit is a false prophet. The prophet that says that Jesus is the Christ is of God, says his holy book. This is the test. Now, why don't you apply it? The holy prophet Muhammad is made to say, وَإِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَا مَرْيَمُ, behold, the angel said, O Mary, Inna Allah yubashiruki bi kalimatin minhu, says Allah gives you glad tidings of a word from him. Ismuhul Masih, his name will be the Messiah, translated Christ, that Jesus is the Christ. If this is the test, here is the test. Why aren't you reasonable? Why don't you look up your own book and your book gives you the test? Apply it to Muhammad.
What do Muslims have to say about the fact that people are hailed in Jesus' name?
I have no hesitation in accepting this phenomena, that it can happen. But these things are happening in Hinduism. People are performing miracles. In Islam, people are performing miracles. You see, in the name of a false god, you can perform miracles. Jesus Christ told that woman, if you remember, you know, the woman who had a bleeding sickness, issues, 7 years, no healing, and she, while Jesus was passing by, she touched the hem of his garments and she was instantly healed. And Jesus felt that something was being drawn out of him. He looks at the woman, he says, Woman, it is thy faith that healeth thee. Her faith, that she had the faith that Jesus, by touching him she get healed, is your faith. So in other words, a faith in a false god can also perform miracles. Jesus says so. For there shall arise many false prophets and false Christs, who will show you great signs and wonders. If it were possible to deceive the very elect, even the disciples of Jesus can be deceived with such miracles. So miracles is no proof at all whether the person is genuine or not.
Jesus said, the Lord our God is one Lord, and you shall love the Lord with your God with all your heart. Mark 12th chapter, the 29th through the 30th verse. Muslims agree with Christians that there is only one God, but how do Muslims love God without a change of heart?
The change of heart, look at the Muslims. Look at them. Jesus said, by the fruits you shall know them. Do men gather figs from the thistle or grapes from the thorn? He said, every good tree will bear good fruit and every evil tree will bear evil fruit. Here is the test. The fruits. Islam has created the biggest society of teetotalers in the world. There are some 1,000 million Muslims in the world, and almost as a whole, they are teetotalers. They don't imbibe alcohol. Here is the fruits. My own particular race, the most racist people on earth, you know, the Hindus of India, the caste Hindus, you know, the super was Brahmin caste, my nation. And you see the same nation, the most racist nation on earth, becomes one who accepts the black and the white, the rich and the poor in his brotherhood. A change. With all these claims that are being made for Christianity, Jesus Christ transforming people's lives, you know, the old you goes out of you and the new you comes into you. I says, my dear brothers and sisters, look, in this mighty nation of America, according to Brother Swaggart, 11 million drunkards. That's what he says. 11 million drunkards and 44 million heavy drinkers. Your nation. And Brother Swaggart says, I see no difference between them. Means 55 million. He considers them to be drunkards. The only difference is that he is not going far enough. In Islam, we say even your social drinker. The Holy Quran says, but before that the Prophet Muhammad said, so whatever intoxicates in greater quantity is forbidden even in smaller quantity. No excuse for a nip or a tot. Out. The Holy Quran says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, so O you who believe, innamal khamru, most certainly intoxicants, wal maisiru, and gambling. Brother Swaggart in his book on gambling says, 54 billion a year you are squandering on gambling. Wal maisiru, wal ansabu, and fortune telling, wal azlamu, and idol worship, rijzum min amali shaitan, are an abomination of Satan's handiwork, fajtanibuhu la'allakum tuflihun. It's a shun such abomination that you may prosper. And wine barrels were emptied in the streets of Medina, never to be refilled. This is the fruit. This is the fruit of this teaching. With 2,000 years of preaching, look at it. You have these powers of miracle working. Christ gives life. He heals the sick. Muhammad couldn't. In the name of Muhammad, they couldn't do it. I says, my brothers, you don't read the scriptures. Jesus Christ, he said, for there shall arise many false Christs and false prophets who will show you great signs and wonders, if it were possible to deceive the very elect. If false Christ can do that, if false Christ can perform miracles, if false prophets can perform miracles, then I says, is this a test of your faith? No. Then Jesus Christ tells those who are doing this miraculous work, he's telling you in the Gospel of St. Matthew, that on that day, on the last day, on the day of judgment, he says, many will come to me on that day, saying, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in thy name, and in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name do many mighty works? In your name, in the name of Jesus, didn't you do all these things? Didn't we do all that? He said, yes. He said, then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. I said, yeah, explain. You. He won't tell the Jews, depart from me. Forsack, get away, I don't know you. He won't tell the Hindus, get away from me, or the atheists, get away from me. He will tell you. I want to know why. Why would he tell you? I don't even know you, get out. I says, look, these are not the test. John the Baptist, according to Jesus, one of the mightiest messengers of God, Jesus says, among those born of women, there has not risen another greater than John the Baptist, and yet he performed no miracles. Did he? Show me. What did he do? What miracles? No, miracle is not a test. But the greater miracle is that without any miracles you transform nations. Nations are transformed. 1,000 million people, they don't imbibe alcohol because of the dictates of Muhammad.